After I sit here and take one long last look at the pyramids, in an hour the sun will be down, and this will be the last day that I will see the sunset from our journey. It's been quite chock full of major realizations, levels of wakefulness in regards to things that I actually never thought or put into my equation of possibilities. But the path of, compared to what the journey was in June, was very, very, very different. The levels of visions and clarity that I was able to receive on this journey that allowed me to see people in many depths, and whether they were vocal about it, it was very interesting to confirm the sight of this before they became vocal and started to externalize the deepness of the what we call the imbalances or the lower frequencies. This is part of the mystery schools here in Egypt, is to really get in touch with the true self, eliminate all that no longer serves, that holds us into the illusions of what we are not and what we are not capable of. These are all false. We are learning this every step that we take when we return to the great land, and we return to our abilities and true knowingness of what we truly are. So this is something that becomes very beautiful. I've seen many levels of emotions, a lot of struggles, but a lot of clarification. And my wish for all is that they walk home with these gifts and to continue to walk with these realizations of what is possible, what we truly are, and not to fall back into the old illusions. Usually about 95% of the people who truly come to Egypt for the true understanding within the spiritual self, their lives are never the same once they return back to the Americas or to whatever country they come from. Some people are not able to come out of it. They get pulled further in, and they're missing the key factors. And the true gifts is when we have the ability to master the present moment. And I'm actually quite surprised at how many people don't realize what that is, what level of frequency is, just to be here in the now, with no thoughts of the future, no thoughts of the past, just a complete present moment. And this is something, of course, that I'm still continuing to master. I have gotten over some major humps in regards to this ability, and I've chosen to be able just to bring magnificence within the path and beautiful outcomes within the path with no struggles. And this is something I claim every time I'm with people and alone with myself. So we've had some major beautiful connections with people here, so much of the indigenous culture. But it's just beautiful when we just open ourselves up and become, just be very present and just look for the magic in life. This is the key. This is the gift that Egypt holds. And it is the great mystery. We look over there and we just wonder to this day. It doesn't matter what your education is, what your spiritual link is. That's still considered the mystery. We are not to know what that is until the time of the great reveal. We can get very, very close to understanding, but then when I was looking at information that people are throwing down as absolutes and looking at the specifications and the mathematics that they're using, they're still flawed. They're still missing the primer or one of the key encryption codes. And they'll stand on everything that they know, but they can't 100% deliver that that's accurate. But we see this a lot, and immediately I just choose, if I don't feel the resonance, I just step away from it. I usually try not to use any comments. I usually just try to be in my quietness when I feel that there's a key factor missing. And then when we go in and we actually go into the pyramids and we see missing elements that soon haven't been announced or part of the mathematical equations of the base system, that how they built this, it changes everything. I mean, it's like if you're using the 10-base system but you don't use the 0 as a calculation, something's going to be off. A lot of it's going to be off, and we're going to have to rewrite it. But this is beautiful just in the overall aspect of the journey itself. And I love every moment of it. The deduction, going back out to the solar temple in Abu Ghraib today, and just being able to sit there quietly with just my co-host Brooks and just literally and Greg, and we just literally just went through it at our own leisure. And this is very interesting. Where we literally scratch our heads, but then we find conclusiveness of and putting more pieces together. This is where it gets exciting. Whether what we learn has to become public, I really feel it does. But does there need to be credit on how the information comes forth? In my path, no. I don't choose to take credit. I don't choose to stand in the limelight of that. I just would want the people to really know the true origin. And this is something that's really beautiful when we really understand the level of the origin gateways. And when I was guided, when I was in the pit in June, I was given, my guidance told me to return to this place on November 11th, return during the 11/11 cycle and enter the pit where then you will truly emerge. And as we were talking about the pit this time, Greg was talking about there's one section in the pit that they don't allow people to go in because people die in there and they haven't figured out the reasons why, so they closed it off to the public. When I did my descent into the pyramid, we waited and we all got situated, and I sat at the entrance of the descent chamber to go down to the pit, and I waited for the lights to go out, and I did my complete descent in the blackness. Once I arrived, I turned on the light, and I was guided to go around an area where I've never been before, and that was revealed to me the other chamber that lies down in the pit. And it just so happens that was open. And that was a very interesting feeling for me, because all of a sudden, with all the stories about death surrounding it, I felt I checked in and I was given a choice. Said, the choice is yours. You can either go in and truly understand, or you can stay here. And I just looked up and I said, so be it. And I turned off the lights and I descended into the pit, into the other chamber where death surrounded it. That was probably the most amazing level of realizations within my true self, because I surrendered at that moment and I realized I went in there to understand death at a higher level, knowing that I would return, knowing that my physical body would leave, but the dying of the self, of the illusionary self, was the key understanding. And whatever came before my thoughts is what we bring in, which will amplify 1,000 times and become part of our worst nightmares, our worst reality. And that's where I can feel where people die of heart attacks in there, because it's what they bring in there with them. So in the mystery schools, it's about clearing the self, clearing the mind, the body, and the spirit, walking in the true present moment, and that is a true level of mastery. Then nothing can come in. Nothing can be amplified in our thoughts, because we don't bring it with us. We choose to stay very present into the future purpose of what we are coming to be on this planet. So this was my journey. I laid in there. When I came back out, I was the most filthy that I've ever been in my life, because I had to lay on my back to get out, and I laid in that structure for quite a while until everything was clear and I had beautiful realizations to move forth. It felt like a rebirth. It felt like a birthing coming from that side, which was known as the death corridor, and coming up and then doing my ascent into when I actually arose from the pit, I had a very intimate dialogue with my higher self, and there was no words, but they were answers. And there was a language that had no words that was spoken, but it was so clear and so precise. It'll take me days to deduce that. And then my movement into the Queen's Chamber to balance out, and then we went up into the King's Chamber, and that was a beautiful moment for us all. To finish this, it was really interesting. We were at the farewell dinner last night saying goodbye to everyone. Everyone's departing today. And I said, wow, it's very interesting. I said, every time I come to Egypt, I always have a cat dream. There's always a cat that comes to me in my dreams in Egypt. And I said, I didn't have one yet. And I knew there was one more night. And actually yesterday there was a very cat present energy. We were feeding cats at a place we were eating. And after this one cat was very happy and satisfied, it just was under our table and he just stared me right in the eyes. He just looked at me without moving away, and I was admiring how beautiful his eyes was and how amazing his energy was. He was just a very aware cat. And lo and behold, last night I had a dream of a cat, and it was the longest dream that I've had here, and it had so much significance. And I woke up and I said, wow, you got to be kidding me. The cat dream came. And I don't dream of cats when I'm at home. I only dream of cats when I'm in Egypt. So this is the 4th time in Egypt, and I've had 4 cat dreams. But this one had so much meaning, and it's going to take a little bit for my subconscious to understand. But it was a very small white cat, very long and beautiful. And it actually, when it interacted with me, I was told there was someone over my shoulder telling me that the cat has a dual personality. And when it's female, its gender, its physical body becomes female, but then when it switches, it becomes male. When it's female, it's loving and happy, but when it's male, it's very angry. And when the cat was in its feminine side, it would come up to me and it would do this, almost like this incredible movement around my arm, and it was like this dance it would do, and it would just move. Its body was so fluidic, and then the voice over my shoulder said, "That is a mating, and she has chosen you." And she literally stood there, and through her reproductive system, a drop of blood came out and splattered on the floor. And that's when they told me that it was a ritual. And they said, you must find a way to bond with her. And I was realizing that this wasn't the symbolism of a cat and a person. There was more meaning to it. And our subconscious, whatever the messages were, is for me to deduce that is like to understand what the ceremony and the bond is. As I speak of it, I realize I think it has something to go back into the origin of the true coupling within the masculine and feminine, and there will not be balance until we get back to that origin understanding. And it seems to be revealing in a very clear purpose at this moment, speaking of it, because I've spoken it to people, but I haven't spoken it to you or the camera in silence. So as I sit up here by myself in the gaze of the pyramids, this is the realization that I'm coming to. So I will work as due diligent as I can to bring this information back to you and to bring this clarification so we can shift into this origin understanding and truly bring divine essence on this planet, where we can move into the unity, into the unification of all things living. And we do have a chance. We do have the ability to bring utopia here. And it's up to us. It's a conscious shift that will make this happen. And this great awakening will happen. I've seen tangible evidence of this happening. And if I can do it, I know everyone else can do it. And I've chosen to be one of the ones on the front lines, without any references, without anyone to confirm with. It's been a very journey of solitude, but also a journey of absolute amazement. And once in a while, I run along someone who is right alongside me with the same understanding, taking the same mission. And we just acknowledge each other and we continue. So this is it. This is it. We are getting close. The good news is we are returning. We are returning here on 11/11/11. The information has been very clear. There are a couple of obstacles that have to be removed, but they were purposely put there to show what we're truly capable of. And I am 100%. I am grateful in so many ways, and I have chosen to take this on. And I know it's going to be a beautiful level of realization. And as soon as that becomes clear, I will share it with you. So until we talk again, I want to send you love and light, and really have an amazing walk in life. When I see you, tell me amazing stories of your life. Once you realize what you truly are, and I will be excited for you. I will be in love with you on all levels, and I will never take that love away. It's impossible for me to do so. There it is. So be it.